All right, everybody. Welcome to our next episode of our weekly show, Indie Inquiries, where we take a look at the upcoming indie games that are being released and offer marketing and store page advice for them. As always, I am Josh Bycer, now on my new camera, so you can see even more of my room and get all the lore about how things are set up here. And joining me is my co-host from Nexus Games, Sharky.
Yeah, I noticed you painted your room from a beige to a white color. It
I'm at
looks
a
completely different.
I'm at the stunning 1080p now in terms of people can see me.
Yeah, I mean, it also looks like you added a bunch of lights to your room and painted your walls, but you didn't.
Mm-mm.
That is purely the camera. So I wish I could say I'm doing good, but I am definitely not doing good. I'm doing pretty bad, honestly. But you know, if you can live to tell about it, and that is yet to be seen, but maybe I'll live to tell about it. More than likely, I'll live to tell about it. You know, I'll be able to survive and be able to make it to a better time.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for all the comments about the things that people can now see in my room. But as always, each week we take a look at upcoming indie games and we go through this list beforehand. We have, I believe, 7 this week that we'll be going through. And we'll be taking a look at the store page from the videos to the descriptions and offer our advice and ways you can market these games better. And now that my stream is actually working this time, unlike last week, you can actually see what I'm pointing at and what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, and you don't have to watch my version. You can go to my channel to watch my version.
mm-hmm. So the first one I have up is Ancient Abyss. I think we'll get started with that. And before we do, for any indie developers watching this live or recorded, if you'd like us to take a very good look at your store page, whether it's an older game or an upcoming one, please get in touch. Now, let me see. I think we're all set here. Exit this
Uh-oh.
out.
This way it's not liking Discord. Let me see if I can.
Mm-mm. I think we played this one on one of our. Yeah. Yeah, I think we did.
That's better, but that didn't help. Okay, how's that one? Even better, but still not right. And I don't know if there's anything else I can do. Because you've got black bars on the side. I think we're going to have to roll with it.
Hmm. You can kind of like crop the window in using OBS, so to like remove those black bars, like I did with mine. I had to do a little editing just while we were doing our intro.
I don't know how to do that in the current OBS. I knew how to do that in the old one.
If you hold down Alt when you're dragging on like one of the corners, it should crop it or remove it.
Oh, that is extremely handy.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I've been scrolling down on this page here. And I think this is a pretty solid store page from what I'm seeing.
And I just realized another problem.
Mm-mm.
It's not picking up my screen. There we go.
Well, I will say, I think the developers are snubbing me. They call their game a Rogue Zelda when I coined the term Zelda Rogue.
They're out to get you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did play an indie game last night that was submitted to see how it would play, and the developer did include audio sliders.
Did or didn't?
Did not.
Mm-mm.
Alright. So, this is a 2D Zelda-like action game. It is going to be in early access. It looks like it's been in development for about 3 years. They're looking for 6 months to a year. Current state, types of weapons. Price will rise with the addition of content. I think more and more people are acceptable of that.
Yeah, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Mm-hmm. The gifts that they use, I think, are a really solid touch. And like we said on last week's show, if you're going to have an action or action-based game, you need to show it in motion.
Well, you need to show GIFs either way.
Yeah. But definitely for action games.
Yeah.
Like, if you scroll down, the one that has, like, the shopkeeper, like, reaching out and grabbing something, I really like that one. Dynamic lighting. Yeah, this looks like overall a really solid store page. Some of the
Yeah.
cuts on the gifts is like a little like
Rough.
awkward, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one that the third one from About the Game is an example, and the stimulating combat one.
The features one?
Um, it's the one that has some like slicing forward, and then it like cuts like 2 or 3 different scenes. Yeah,
You're
under
talking about
features.
the Rogue Zelda one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they just included a little bit too much in the one about that.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at the little video here.
We call those trailers.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so it's not in-game. Oh, wait, there we go.
Solid art, and that's
Mm-hmm.
pixel art.
Yeah.
And the big images were pixel art, not just in-game.
Mm-hmm. Seeing the action of the game. You have combat going. Character gets
I like
frozen.
the song, and I like the video. And maybe the song goes with the game, but I don't know if it quite goes with the trailer.
See, I had the sound muted, but we'll see. I was afraid of like the YouTube algorithm coming to get us for any music.
Yeah.
It sounds alright.
It's good music. I just don't know if it goes with the trailer.
I wonder if it's free or was licensed.
And also, if you notice, the GIFs that they showed down there are part of the trailer.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Mm.
Make sure that you put only fresh content in each of them.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to show off the same thing twice. Because even if it's not true, it makes it seem like your game has less content because you're showing off the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Like No Man's Sky, because they showed off the same thing over and over and over again because it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kept on showing the same thing over and over again because it's the only good looking thing they had because it was fake.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, is the roguelike tag, yeah. I think overall this is probably one of the more solid store pages that we've shown.
Yeah.
And I guess for people watching, let's talk a little bit about why. So, starting from the top, we have a trailer that has both, custom art or, not in-game art with the real game footage. It shows and highlights the major points of it. It ends with, very nice look, name of the game, going to be available on that date, etc., etc.
It doesn't start with the company logo because nobody's heard of this company.
We have, like, the only thing that kind of looks out of place, if you look at the fourth screenshot, the dialogue box looks kind of generic to me.
I don't think the dialogue box looks generic. I don't think it fits the game as good as it should have.
Mm-hmm.
It feels out of place.
Mm.
The character looks a little bit out of place too. I know it's the same character that's in the game right there, but like
Mm-hmm.
it feels out of place for some reason.
Yeah. Once I just make sure that I am actually streaming. Yeah, there we go. Just want to make sure. I know it's very quiet with everything going on this week. People aren't exactly watching this.
Oh yeah, there's nothing going on right now.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Nothing in the world is burning down.
Yeah.
Except for the Capitol building.
Yeah. But getting back to this, so we look down here. We have very detailed descriptions of what this game is. We have the features. Every feature has its own GIF, which is also really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
You
any...
definitely want to use a lot of GIFs, and this does a good job at it.
Yeah. Anything you would change on the store page?
I mean, I would have changed the UI, the dialogue box UI, and the character on the dialogue box UI kind of thing. As of actual changes to the store page, besides making the GIFs a little bit better, which I mean, they're not bad GIFs at all, but, making them better because, like specifically the one you pointed out, the third one down under features, the roguelite Zelda one. If you look at that, you can see the first one is you've got three things that are pulling your eyes in this direction, and then it goes back and pulls your eyes in that direction, and then it goes to the next one, which is starting in the center and going the opposite direction, and your eyes are zigzagging across, and you don't want that to happen in consumers' eyes. You want the focal point to stay the focal point, and you want the focal point to move over the GIF and everything, but you don't want to teleport it, kind of thing. And it is definitely teleporting in that GIF.
Yeah.
And in the GIF above it, it's not, because like when it starts and ends, when they transition, both starts and ends right there, basically at the middle of the screen.
Yep.
Where, all of the others, I think, are just one single scene.
Just that one seems to be like 3 scenes in one.
Yeah, well, the one above it is 2 scenes, but they transition it with your focal point in the same place. Where this one has 3 scenes, and they're all 3 different, the focal point is teleporting. And they did the same thing in the trailer, because they just played this GIF as part of the trailer, and that's definitely some part of the trailer that I don't think works either. And there may have been other spots in the trailer similar to that, but I haven't sit there and looked at it in great detail, kind of thing. But you really don't want your focal points to change. You want them to move smoothly, not teleport.
Yeah.
Or not change, but you don't want them teleporting.
All right. But still, I would say of all the trailers and store page we've looked at, this is definitely one of the better ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a solid store page. Could be better, but, I mean, pretty much everyone can.
Yeah. So there is no price on this game yet, because it is in early access. I'm going to say...
It's pretty early access.
Yeah.
It won't go on early access for 7 days.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's going to be priced at $12 or $15 to start with. What do you think?
No, I think it's going to be 15 or 20, because that's 15 is the old indie norm and 20 is a new indie norm. I'm leaning towards 20.
Now it says the price is going to go up as the game goes through early access, so they may price it purposely lower now and then bump it up to maybe 20, 24 when it gets to finish.
That's a good point. I don't know in that case.
Yeah.
I don't know how low they're going to go, but like I figure, the final price will probably be 20, 25,
Yeah.
15 maybe, but like who knows how low they're going to go.
Yeah.
And who knows how much content it actually here. Who knows how long they're planning on being in early access. They may be planning like a 6-month stay in early access and start off at like $15 and go up to 20 or 25 over the 6-month period.
All right. Okay, are you ready to move on to our next?
Yeah.
All
And
right.
I guess for our next one, we can go with, let's go with Candy Disaster.
Okay.
I know somebody who's potentially watching this will have something to say about this game.
Wait a minute. Is this not by the same team I'm thinking of?
Ace
No.
Entertainment.
I'm thinking of Ace Team. They're the ones who do Rock of Ages and a lot of very weird games. Alright, let me... This trailer right here. We'll look at that in a second. Alright, so this is another early access. Last 6 to 12 months. 3 major art updates. That's kind of a red flag for me. The variety we plan to increase the price for late adopters. 3D tower defense game. Now, one thing right off the bat, the gifts are not as good as the previous game.
Well, that might be a limitation of the game itself.
Yeah. Like, they're very hard to see. Like, they should have been made bigger.
Oh, well, yeah. Size-wise, they're too small.
Yeah. I can't see, like, what is happening here, and that's not a good thing.
Also, I'm pretty sure these are compressed because I'm seeing jitters over here.
Yeah.
From compression. And you have to do that on Discord kind of thing because Discord doesn't allow big GIFs. Like I had to do with mine. Compress my like 26 meg GIF down to a 7.9, so Discord would accept it, kind of thing. But you don't want to do that on your Steam page.
Yeah. Like, if you look at these GIFs for a second, like, the only one that I think is really good is the second one, the one that shows like the guy being like flipped into the river and then being like punched into the river as well.
Yeah, the others are
way too busy, especially for that size.
Yeah. I think the main issue is they need to post bigger GIFs and uncompressed ones because the compression's hurting the readability, the size is hurting the readability. But like the GIFs overall, like the actual what they recorded kind of thing, they're probably good. It's just hard to tell with the compression and the size of them.
Now, looking at the screenshots themselves, some of these look kind of busy, some aren't bad. But it's very hard sometimes to tell what you're looking at, especially for a game like this, when it stops. So let's see what the actual trailer looks like. Right off the bat, the text is not in English.
They're also putting their logo at the beginning, which is not a good thing to do.
Yeah, let's see. The game motion doesn't look bad, but I don't see anything original or something that's, unique to this game.
I don't even know what this game is. Is it a tower defense?
I think so. But yeah, none of the text... Numbers are in English, but none of the text is.
Yeah, if this is going to be sold to English audiences, it needs an English trailer. I don't know if it is or not, though.
And Pony's asking, why is the logo in the beginning bad? for an indie developer?
Well, because nobody knows who the hell you are, and nobody cares until the end of the trailer.
Yeah.
And the fact is until the end of the trailer, you have to sell them on the game before that point. And most people are going to stop watching your video in the first 5 seconds of the video. And if the first 5 seconds is your logo and the game name and whatnot, is nobody cares about any of that. Nobody cares about the name of your studio that they don't care about. Nobody cares about the name of the game that they don't care about. You have to make them care about the game first, and then once they care about the game, then they can care about. Then they'll want to know the name of it. You put the name of it, and then they'll want to know who makes that game, and that's where you put your studio name. And they're also going to want to know where you get the game at. And that's where you put it, it's available on Steam, wherever, blah, 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 kind of thing. Like, you don't want to put that stuff at the beginning. You want to put the flashy stuff at the beginning, and you want a call to action at the end.
And
because, it's effective on YouTube to just tell people to like and subscribe at the very beginning of a YouTube video, which we're currently not on right now because this is not YouTube. But like and subscribe, ring the bell. But it's effective on YouTube. But when you're talking about a game, it's not effective. It is very, very not effective because you're hiding the game because, on YouTube, while people are impatient on YouTube kind of thing, they're not as impatient as they are on Steam. Because on Steam, they are brutally impatient. You need your trailer to be 30 seconds long. You need to cut straight to the chase, cut straight to the game. The only way that you would want to put your name at the beginning of a game, your studio name at the beginning, you would never put the game name at the beginning. But the only reason why you would want to put your studio name at the beginning is if everybody knew who your studio was. For example, if you were Clay Entertainment, absolutely put your name at the beginning.
Or
if you were Nintendo, put your name at the beginning. When your name is a name that sells, kind of thing, yes, put your studio name at the beginning. But when you're not a known, indie developer, do not put that there. And really known, Clay known. Clay is the minimum bar. You have to be as big as Clay or bigger to want to rightfully put your name your studio name at the beginning.
All right. So getting back to this, I would say this is not as good as the first game, as Ancient Abyss. It's I would say this is on the average side. There are some good things about the store page, but the bad things are kind of sticking out. I think that's what's going to hurt this game.
Yeah, the name at the beginning of the trailer and
the compressed GIFs.
The compressed and small GIFs. If you want to basically be as large and uncompressed as possible, and possibly even zoomed in the way they did the second one.
Yeah, I would say one thing that they did do that I think is wise is that if you look at the order of the screenshots, the very first 3 are just pure gameplay. There's no UI on whatsoever. And then 4 and 5 actually have gameplay. Now, here's another little bit of a weird thing. Well,
where are you getting 4? Where are you getting 5? There's only 4.
You have to scroll.
No, there's only 4. There's only 4 screenshots. Wait, 4 GIFs.
No, I'm looking at screenshots right now.
Oh, you're talking about screenshots.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the screenshots.
If you look at the 4th and 5th, they actually show the UI. Now, an interesting point is that while the trailer was not in English, the fifth thumbnail is in English. It actually says next round, enemies health, you see combos. So it makes me think that the trailer was cut before they did the translation.
Probably. But I don't know. There might be should be some UI in the first few screenshots.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think for this one, the big things obviously making the trailer a little bit better, changing the gifs.
I have a feeling that the screenshots without the UI in it are actually not actually playing the game.
Hmm.
I have a feeling that is strictly an engine trick where you just you pause the game kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you move around the camera kind of thing, and you
Yeah.
turn off the UI. I'm pretty sure that's what they did here, and only the fourth and fifth are probably the only real screenshots in here.
Mm-hmm.
All the others are probably fabricated.
Yeah. Now, to Pony's point about there being too much text, again, this is why you use GIFs and screenshots in the About the Game section, because you want to break up that text. I would
Yeah,
say, do you think like 4 lines per GIF is good, or do you think maybe going down to two would be better?
I think two would be better, but at the same time, is can you convey the information you need to convey in
Mm,
2 lines?
yeah.
You want as few lines as possible. Let's put it to you that way.
Mm,
But you also want to properly convey the info you need to convey. So,
yeah.
it's safe for a stream.
Yeah.
You want all the info, but you want none of the words. So if you could make it where it had no words, but it had all the info in it, you'd be golden.
Yeah. So I highlight underneath the one understand the skills of the characters. It's giving an example of how you do something, but the GIF doesn't seem to be actually doing that. So that right there is kind of a strike. Like if you're going to give me a literal example, show me that example in the GIF.
Yep. The gift needs to go along with the text.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, not this is definitely not the worst thing that we've seen, but it is definitely missing some, I think, quality of life improvements to the store page.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to say, in terms of the pricing for this, I think minimum will probably be like $10. Like I don't see going beyond that for what I'm seeing on the store page.
I say it being 15
Hmm.
because indie standard.
Hmm. Tony's betting 20. We'll have to find out when it is released. When is it going to be? Wait.
If I bet it won't be 20 because I think if they would try to go for 20, they'd probably actually go for more. They'd probably go like for 35 or 40 kind of thing.
Yeah, that ain't happening with this.
Yeah, but I think it'll be 15 unless the developers have gone overboard, and then in which case I think it'll be a lot higher than 15.
uh, WRF wants to challenge me, see if I can guess what price they're going to go with for their game. We
Yeah,
could do that if you want. We could probably, maybe we can throw your game on as a on another episode.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about this one before we move on?
Uh, it doesn't seem to be a lot of tags up here, and I mean you definitely don't want all the tags, but you want enough tags, and probably they could probably go with a few more tags, like two
Yeah.
or three more tags.
Mm-hmm. All
But
right.
that's all I see off the top of my head with this one.
Yeah. Like I would say like if the last one was like a B plus A minus, this one would be maybe excuse me, like what do you think? Like C plus B minus area kind of thing?
I would say the last one was a A, not an
Mm-hmm.
A minus, but definitely not an A plus either.
Mm-hmm.
It was a low A, like wait, a 96. At least back in my day when 95s were A minuses. I don't know what they are now, but that was probably a 96 kind of thing. This one is a solid, I don't know, C plus or B minus
I
kind
would
of thing.
yeah, I would say that as well. All right. Let's move
Although
to
let's not look at my last games. The word of the day, Chromasia's Steam page.
All right, let's go to Rogue Waves.
Since my last game would certainly not grade well.
I think what's interesting is that we've looked at 3 different early access games. We didn't really check to see if these games were early access before we started this, or I really didn't pay attention, so we'll see how many of these are. So, they're expecting in-crown content, course of 1 year, price may change. Or physics-based game about building warships. So this kind of sounds like to me like gratuitous space battles, but with boats. I guess gratuitous boat battles. Now, right off the bat, we have some issues with the store page. There are no GIFs or screenshots in the About This Game section.
Mm-hmm. And you really don't want to put screenshots down here, but you especially want GIFs.
Yeah,
But a screenshot would be better than nothing, and there's a whole lot of nothing down there.
Yeah,
just like my last one.
And here's a very big point. This is a game about building and customizing and being very creative. I need to see that. You can tell me that your game will have 10 million hours of creativity and I can build anything in it. I don't see it here.
Yeah. They did at least do colors for their little headers kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice bit of polish kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, big blocks of text broken up by nothing, and you really want to break those up as much as possible.
Yeah.
And keep them as short as possible while giving as much information as possible.
Mm-hmm. The screenshots really aren't doing it for me. It's just showing me like nondescript ships. There's a spider bot. Only one of these actually has a UI on it, and that does not look like the best UI.
Yeah, and not including UI is very, very bad in your screenshots. And yeah, that UI looks pretty bad. That's programmer UI. That is just a box with another box with rounded corners inside of it.
Yeah.
And some stock assets kind of thing. The buttons are the best part of that UI. I bet the buttons look like they were either done by an artist or they were an asset kind of thing.
I'm at least happy there's tooltips, like when you're watching the trailer.
I haven't looked at the trailer yet.
I mean, the trailer, like, actually, like, in motion, it's not bad, but it's also very generic. Like, a lot of the UI here looks kind of like placeholder.
They're at least showing you how to build and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They needed GIFs of stuff like this.
Definitely. It's like a Rob the Robot, but as a boat.
And they also need to show more than one boat. It seems like they're only showing one at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, there's another one.
And now other boat. The thing is their assets in game don't look any different. So they look kind of generic.
Mm-hmm.
All the boats kind of look the same, and that's more of an issue with the game than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, and I think this is an interesting point. Like, the trailer, I think, if anything, would sell this game because the rest of the store page does not.
Yeah, the trailer is the best part of this store page.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the game looks pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a question of will that fun hold out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Last. But like the, they didn't show much enemies in there. They showed like the spider like 2 or 3 times, kind of thing. In that, they
Mm-hmm.
showed the one giant fish. Also, everything they showed in the trailer is covered here in the screenshots. The screenshots look like just screenshots of the trailer, not screenshots of the game.
Mm-hmm. So the game is aiming at 3 hours of story mode. The enemies and blocks will be added. Yeah, like this one. It seems like they're trying to go for a very high concept, but what they are making, I don't think hits that height.
Yeah, and these screenshots are 100% pointless. They shouldn't even included screenshots at this rate because everything in the screenshots is in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste players' time, shoppers' time, consumers' time by showing them the same thing twice.
Yeah, and again, like a game like this, there should be all matter of gifts of showing different ships, different blocks doing things.
Yeah, and crazy ships, not just basic
Yeah,
ones.
not just like
You
the
know,
same ship in 8 different gifts.
yeah, you should have like the testers and people who are playing this early kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
before it's available on the store page. You should have be showing off some of their creations. There's some of their monstrosities. Like
Mm-hmm. Like Besiege.
here's Final Fantasy VII airship kind of thing or something like that
Mm-hmm.
in this game. Here's a castle that floats on water. Here's all this crazy stuff. I mean, that's stuff you should be like wow, that's amazing kind of thing.
Yeah.
That you should be showing off in this kind of game.
Yeah. Which makes me think that they don't have it for this. They may not
You
have
mean they don't have
tester,
testers?
yeah, or anything that can go to that level. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah. So my gut is telling me that this is a game that they're going to try and price it high because of the whole sandbox mode and fully crate. That they would probably go for like a $20 price tag, but
2025 probably.
yeah, but I don't see that for this one.
But I see a red flag. It's a sizable game and everything. Looks kind of like it's lacking content, and then you look at the developer and publisher, and it's a personal name for both
Mm-hmm.
Diego Rodriguez, and that means that this is likely a solo dev, which most likely means that it is missing a lot of content,
Mm-hmm.
and most definitely goes to the fact that there's probably not any testers on this.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably right about that. There's probably no testers on this, which, I mean, the game looks good from this surface level, even though the store page is not good. But man, there's a lot of red flags in there
Yeah.
in the game itself.
And I would
More
pro
more red flags in the game than there is in the store page.
yeah. I think I would give this one maybe like what, like a C minus as a store page, maybe D plus.
No, I think a D. Not even a
Mm-hmm.
D plus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the screenshots are useless because it's all in the trailer. The trailer is not the best.
There's
Could
no description or no gifs or pictures in the store page.
the description is not the best. The no gifts, no a lot of newbie mistakes here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a lot we would change on this one.
And issues with the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
At
Yeah,
least
so
it looks like there's a lot of them. There's a lot of
mm-hmm.
red flags
Yeah.
pointing towards issues.
And I'm betting that this is like with this being a solo developer that they probably did all the art as well. Because as you
Hmm.
said, it has that programmer art kind of look and feel to it.
Yeah, the art they didn't buy anyway.
Yeah.
And like if you look at the ships, they're all single color. By like, I mean, like the texture is blue or the texture is white. There's no like, like here's some detail. Like this is a little hatch thing. This is this thing. There's none of that. It's just single colored faces kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, let's move on. Do you want to look at Mage Hunters next?
We can.
Okay.
All right. So, Mage Hunters here. We'll look at these screenshots here. It's very much kind of a board game, kind of card game slash tactical RPG from the looks of it. Although I'm not seeing any real UI here.
Yeah. The art is very generic too.
Yeah, it feels like assets. I think it is assets.
So here's a question for those of you watching this live recorded, because I haven't scrolled down yet on my screen. What do you think the price of this game is? Because this one is actually out already. I'm curious what people are going to say. Whether they're going to be too high or too low for this
If
one.
you look at the screenshots 5 through 8, they're all the exact same screen, just picking up the cards.
Yeah. John says $20. Yeah. No, this should be an $80 game for sure. Like the card art isn't horrible, but like
It's
those,
all assets, so it doesn't match.
but like the
Let's look at the
whole screen just looks very poor. It looks very muddy in terms of these textures.
yeah. Let's take a look at the trailer.
All right. The universe is in danger. Uh-oh.
And man, this
And you throw
trailer's so
dice.
slow.
And text on the trailer is not good too.
Not necessarily, but
It should be overlaid onto the
that
footage.
that slow zoom, that slow everything. Like this trailer's so slow.
Yeah. Like they're really
Everything.
trying to get like that minute worth of time.
Yeah, like
Yeah, like
like
stuff like Face Fantastic Powers, you could just overlay that over the game footage. Like, you don't want to just cut to just text and have nothing else here.
well, you can, but you got to do more than just text. It's got to be decorated and whatnot.
Did you see that strategic move, everyone? He went in a circle. That was the strategic move.
He's listing to the left.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that trailer feels like they're like, we got to make a 1 minute trailer, and we only have like enough content here for about 5 seconds. Let's just put everything in slow motion.
It's kind of like the like the old trick for when you're writing a paper and you need to get 1,000 words. I really, 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 really like this part. This is really, really just go with that. All right, so the price of this game is 99 cents. So
And I have a feeling that 99 cents is not going to sell this game.
no, or 79 cents.
Yeah. Or 1 cent. Not that they could price it at that, because Steam puts a minimum at 49 cents. So, if you price your game at 99 cents, Steam will not let you go over a 50% discount.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can do a higher, the only way to do a higher discount would go with a higher price.
And if you look at the how to play, oh wait, before that it says this is a game for people who like intelligent mechanics. Well, then above that, a mix between classical board game and modern video game effects. And this is a challenging game to you that like strategic combats.
Yeah.
And I love the how to play. Roll a dice at random, randomly choose your character, and you have to roll another dice to try and. Oh boy.
Yeah, this has red flags on top of red flags on top of red flags.
Free to suffer. That's a good one, John. That's what you call some mobile games from now on. It's free to suffer. Now that's
Yeah,
masochism right there.
that's your normal free to play game too.
Yeah.
This isn't free to suffer. You have to pay to suffer on this one.
But only 79 cents.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it all ends on January 14th. Then you have to go to $1.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's not $1. It's 99 cents.
Oh yeah.
You know, that 1 penny makes all the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is I think just straight up F if we're grading these store pages. Can we go below an F?
I don't know if this is an. I think this is an F plus. They did do bullet points and put those little squares in there. They did actually make a trailer. It wasn't a good trailer, but they made one. They did include screenshots. I have seen worse. I have seen store pages with no trailers, no screenshots, or maybe just one screenshot kind of. No, wait. I haven't seen one with one screenshot.
I'm sure they're out there. We just haven't found it yet.
No. You can't find them because Steam requires 5 to approve you.
Yeah, so this is one that everything on this page is not selling this game.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think the game is selling the game either.
And you put in the store description, it has beautiful graphics. I would argue that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to bring you hours of fun, relaxation, and challenges.
Yeah. Is challenges relaxation?
Oh, for me it is. But again, that's the masochism in me.
Yeah.
And
For non-masochist is it's relaxation challenges.
Oh boy, yeah. So again, the whole description will have to be rewritten. It needs GIFs showing this game. But really, there's not a lot you can do with this art. And of course, changing the trailer.
Yeah. To about 5 seconds long and then including, another 25 seconds worth of stuff in there.
Yeah. Also, here's another weird thing. For some of these screenshots that show the game in action, it has the title of the game in the screenshot. Like, that looks very low quality to me.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, if you're going to include it in there, include it in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Like on my current game, Continuum, I'm not looking to advertise the game's name inside the game kind of thing. But the game's name is on the cards kind of thing.
Yeah.
As the logo. Not that I wanted to go with the game name. I need a logo on there. That just happens to be our logo, the game's name.
Yeah. I just noticed these wizards that they have in the game, or these mages, they look suspiciously like the Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy, 9 Black Mage, dark character, yellow eyes.
Yeah.
He's wearing a sombrero, though.
That's not just Final. That's the traditional Black Mage. That's from like Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, you're right.
And 2 and 3 and 4. I think they ran those all the way up to about 5, and then they brought it back in 9.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it does look very much like that.
Yeah, so I think I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
Let's go
to
what
are we moving on to?
Dungeon and Puzzles. Oh, and time-wise, we're about 7 minutes to the hour, so I think we should be able to get through the remaining 2 games. We'll just see how
quick.
Yeah. So this is one that I chose. And this one doesn't look too bad. We have gifts. Looks like we have awards over here. The pixel art, I don't think it's amazing, but I think it looks good enough for this. What do you think?
it's serviceable in a commercial sense.
Yeah.
It's not great in a commercial sense, but it's serviceable in commercial. This is good enough to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean it will succeed, but it's good enough that it could succeed, kind of thing. There's that minimum level, and that minimum level is very, very high because when it comes to games, there's a very high floor, and not a very low, and there's not very much difference between the floor and the ceiling of art for potentially successful games, and that's really sad.
I like, if you look at the second GIF with him like swinging the sword, I like that animation of him swinging that sword. Like, you can see like there's like heft to him doing that.
Yeah. Right. That's all about keyframing and everything and getting your timings.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what this trailer is.
Okay, trailer.
It has a mobile look to it with this UI. Maybe just because of like all the big icons in the upper right.
I don't think that's mobile. It may feel mobile though.
Yeah. Alright, so we have combat. It does look pretty good in motion.
Yeah.
Oh, Sokoban. My arch nemesis returns.
What is Sokoban?
Box moving. Rules. Yeah, so it puts the text on screen, but it's very quick. Like, it doesn't feel like a 5-10 second thing like the last game.
Well, the last game, the reason why it felt that way is I'm pretty sure it's about the same length of time, is because the whole thing was slow. Yeah. And because the style of the font and everything they used did not fit the game.
Yeah,
this one fits the game.
Yeah. But it is using footage from the GIFs in the trailer. Fish.
No, that's not good. Then.
Yeah. And it says there's 150 levels, so I'm sure they had space or they had things to do.
Yeah. And yeah, they definitely use the GIFs in the trailer, and you do not want to do that. That's a red mark.
Yeah. I would say this one, it's clearly better than the last game. There's no denying that.
I don't know. I could argue. Hey, I'd be wrong, but I could argue.
Like this one, I would give it I would give it like maybe a B, maybe like I think a solid B for this one. What do you think?
Yeah. Maybe a B plus for their store page kind of thing. And I mean, evaluating the game based off of everything they've showed, game looks pretty solid. But I don't like the red UI up in the corner because that does like really clash kind of thing. Like it's not just that it's really big, which I think it should be a bit smaller. But the fact that it's that red color is just really drawing my eyes to it in every one of the screenshots.
I think it would probably have fit better along the bottom, kind of like lined up with the hotbar UI. So that way your entire attention is on the main game screen in the middle.
Yeah, I would probably put it at the bottom, but make it smaller and not red.
Yeah, smaller buttons, still have the symbolism or the symbology of it.
Yeah. Maybe inverse the colors to where instead of red icons with red with
red.
white. Yeah, white with red instead of red with white.
Yeah. I would say like this one. I feel they're going to price it on the higher side. Like, I think minimum 15, probably closer to $20 to $22.
I'm guessing 15 or 20
Yeah.
because indie standards.
I think this one does have potential. Like overall, I think this is a solid one. Like there's not a lot I would really change. Maybe just making like have different footage in the trailer.
Seeing how they have a publisher, I'm guessing 20.
Yeah.
John says 20.
I'm thinking that as well. Like this looks like a game that they're they're putting some, I think, backing into this. Like this doesn't feel like a quick and dirty game.
No. I've never heard of that publisher, though.
Me neither.
Crafter.
Yeah, but
But it
still,
does seem pretty solid.
yeah, like this is another thing. This is another good example. I think Ancient Abyss may still be like the top one for this episode, but we'll see. I think I'm ready.
John said he didn't say $20. He said $19.99. Not $20 because that 1 cent. That 1 cent makes all the difference.
There we go. See anything with the screenshots that stick out? We have UI, we have gameplay.
I apologize for assuming your penny. Penny for your thoughts.
Alright.
Then it would be 20.
I will say I like the lighting that the game puts into it, like with like the portal and the torches.
Yeah. That's really basic stuff. I mean, they did add some flair, though, to where it feathers or tethers at the end. I don't know what the correct term for that. Feathering or tethering or something.
Yeah.
Something along that lines. But you can see, and they also locked it to the pixels because since like it's a pixel art game, you really don't want your lighting to interrupt the pixels kind of thing. And this one does that. Avoids doing that. It actually, renders to the pixels as a whole rather than half a pixel or whatever, because that's something you don't want to see in a game like this. It would cause a mismatch, and we've seen that before.
Yeah.
And yeah, this really did that lighting well. I mean, it's not like a big task or anything, but that small touch to this, thing makes a lot of difference in because it's a difference between matching and filling out a place.
Yeah.
Matching with the extra step of polish.
And again, small touches are very big when it comes to the store page and just how your game looks.
Yeah. Right. Well, that would be with the game itself.
Yeah.
Their rings around, the lighting. If you look at it, you see how it does that gradient kind of thing. Like you see that, like on the outside view, you only see like 3 colors, but then as you come in from that, you see like a bunch of colors. That would be one I would avoid. I would have kept on with the big color bands and had less shades in there, because that does kind of mess up the pixel art to a point.
All right.
But they did the feathering or tethering, whatever it is, on the sides of that too, which is again a nice touch.
Yeah. For anyone watching this recorded, let us know which one is right, feathering or tethering.
Or anybody live.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. So we have one more game for each of us. So we will go to Tower of the Dead Life for Shark, and then we'll go to my game. So let's see, what's our time? We're a little over an hour. What do you think? Maybe another 10, 15 minutes, hopefully?
Probably.
All right. So it's kind of interesting that both of these games are going to have the same alert about English language not supported. And again, we didn't plan this out that far in advance of the games that we picked.
It's ironic. The first ones were the same too.
Yeah.
So looking at the Steam page, about this game, there's just an image here. It
Mm-hmm.
is a unique shape, so that gives it some points there. But it is just an image kind of thing, and that can work. But it would probably be better. It would be better with a GIF.
Yeah. Town design.
Um,
It has all kinds of elements.
there's a good bit of text here. Um,
Lots of art they're showing off, or a lot of assets.
and they separated the overview from the text. You probably want that together, the overview and the text, because you want the text to be, you want the blue text to offset against the white text rather than have an image in between them. You'd want the image either probably below the text is where you'd want the image rather than in between the text.
Is this game in early? It is not in early access. Yeah, like the art, unfortunately, looks very generic here. As you're facing tomorrow, and then
I think it's just very simple art.
yeah, and it
It's
was
not
a
bad.
two-person team for this game. Look at the very last thing, all the way at the bottom, underneath glass. There are many deficiencies in the game.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to put into your store page.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it's got 3 trailers. Let's see.
Okay, we're going to trailers now. Okay.
I'm afraid to play this music.
Game name at the beginning, that's a red flag. It's a mark.
Music sounds very generic.
The gameplay is looking very generic too.
Yeah.
Look a very simple AI. This looks more like a prototype
Mm-hmm.
than a finished game.
So we have
This looks like
crafting.
something that was done in a month or 2 or like programming wise, this looks like this was done in like a week. Very rudimentary AI, very rudimentary targeting.
Right, so the second trailer
Not
is
much core gameplay loop.
Second one looks like it's base building, which looks like very Farmville, very Clash of Clansy.
Yeah, this was like a totally different game at this point.
Mm-hmm. Which again makes me think that it's a very basic design. Like they're trying to do 2 or 3 different systems, and it's gonna have like the most basic kind of connection between them.
Yeah, this is starting to look like a free-to-play game with an abusive model. And no call to action at the beginning, just a weird logo.
Yeah.
Let's look at the third trailer.
Some kind of like dungeon crawler, maybe?
Look at the image of the character on the side.
Yeah, it's
God,
like a crash test dummy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this looks like game testing here. Like they're not even have anything turned on. They're just going from room to roof.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's happening. Except for like every like 3 rooms something pops up.
Yeah.
It's like you went into this room, well there's no content here. Good luck going to the next one.
Yeah, so
There's where they get the flat images kind of thing. Part of their UI event thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it sounds like developers really wanted to make something like very big, but again, like I think they just didn't have the skills here.
Skills worth of money.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice it has 3 different trailers, but they're 3 nondescript trailers. Lots of screenshots, which I'm. See, some of them were used in the trailer, some I don't think they were. But yeah, like this is a Like, the store page itself is organized well, but it's not really helping this game.
And developer and publisher is the same, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm betting that's a personal name.
Yeah. Well, it's a two-person
And
team, so I'm gonna say it's gonna be very small in terms of what they're doing. But yeah.
and it doesn't look like they spent much time on it as a two-person team either.
Mm-hmm.
Although they could have spent 10 years developing this at the same time.
Yeah, I think again, like this feels like like the overall store page isn't horrible, but I think you know what I said a few minutes ago about the store page not selling the game. I think this is
Yeah.
a case of the game not selling the game.
Yeah, I would rate the store page higher than I would rate the game.
Yeah.
The game, from what it looks like, I would give it probably a D minus or an F plus kind of thing. The store page, what, maybe a C?
I would say
C
in the C range.
C plus maybe.
Mm,
Probably not a C plus since there's no GIFs down here.
yeah. It shows detail. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of images, which is good.
Yeah. And there are a lot of different images.
Mm-hmm.
And they broke up a lot of the text and they kept their text pretty short kind of thing for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think not
Yeah,
much.
like I would definitely rate the store page a lot higher than the game itself.
Yeah. Like if they're trying to price this game, I think even $10 would be pushing it.
Yeah, I think $5 would be pushing it.
Yeah. All right. I think
But it very well likely might be free to play.
could be. Yeah. There's not much else for me to say about this. Anything from you?
No.
All right. Let's get to our final game for this week's episode. And this is Azure Sky. Azure Sky? And yeah, I chose this one because just like again, like very like weird. Like, I'm seeing like very conflicting elements. So you have like the title screen that looks like it's a different art than the main game. This is an action, puzzle, and platform game. So you get one action, one puzzle, one platform.
Yeah. It actually wouldn't surprise me if it only had one of each.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. And look at our very large store page for this one.
Oh yeah, this is massive. And it's like one paragraph and one sentence with no GIFs, no images, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No even different colors of font.
Yeah.
That is all bad right there.
And these images, like some of like the background art doesn't look too bad, but it kind of looks like it's mismatched with the foreground.
Yeah, it's more than likely the background is an asset. Maybe the foreground is too. I doubt the character is. The character is definitely, actually seeing how the character is the same as the foreground. So probably one artist did the character and the foreground. No, wait.
Hmm.
I'm seeing something different. If you look at the first screenshot, zoom into it, kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that the character has black outlines. The bush has black outlines. The flower has black outlines. All the objects have black outlines, which in the UI has black outlines, which looks like they're all done by the main UI
Mm-hmm.
anyway, which makes them all look like the same person. But when you look at the icons at the top, those are totally different art, and they have white outlines instead of black outlines. So those look like assets right there. Those are most likely assets.
Like an RPG icon asset or something like that.
Yeah. Then you look at the UI in the top corner, the HP mana level. That's just font. That's cheap in-engine UI kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you look at the bottom ground. That's a lot more detailed and shaded rather well. Where everything
and
else
there's no
is
black lines either.
Yeah, there's no black lines, which says that it's done by a different artist. and you look at the background, there's no black outlines, and it's like a 3 or 4 colors kind of thing, and it looks done quite well, better than the other thing. So like what I'm betting is they got one asset pack for the backgrounds. They got one asset pack for the UI icons up there, the skull and everything, the ones with the yellow, the white things. And then they got one asset for the ground, and then they did the character and the flowers, trees, and all this foreground stuff.
Yeah.
And they did the UI and whatnot.
From a UI standpoint, one that is really annoying me is that you see like the level 1 in that symbol at the top, that it's like overlaid over the bar. It should really be moved down and in line with these icons.
Probably, but those icons are just they clash so hard.
All right, let's watch the trailer.
Do we have to? At least they're not starting with the company logo.
Yeah. Music sounds like it's being outsourced, or it's not.
Yeah, that sounds like an asset music. Yeah, I'm pretty positive that's an asset.
See, trailer is only 51 seconds. At least it's showing gameplay. Very generic gameplay.
Yeah, it's no cuts, no nothing. Oh, there's a cut.
Yeah, we got one.
About halfway through. It's just, a let's play at this point. And they restarted the song. Is the song part of the level?
Maybe.
And they're not even doing it's not even a trailer song. It's just they're playing game audio. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. And then it ends with a flat screen with no call to action or anything. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. That is such a horrible trailer.
Yeah, this is just... It's just a footage trailer. It's not even really selling the game. Like, this would be kind of like... we say, like, you have multiple trailers? This would be like a second or third tier trailer. This is not your main.
I think this would be a 0-tier trailer because you would want actually better gameplay and stuff in there. And also, every ground looks, flat. There's no real variance in the terrain. You're just walking side to side and, hitting buttons. Like, there's nothing there kind of thing. Like this. It's, and oops, that sounds like a solo developer, and developer and publisher. Like it looks like a first time game maker, not game maker engine, but a first time developer, making a solo game that had no idea what he was doing on a lot of things.
And if you notice, as this character is attacking, there's no animation for any of the attacks. It's just sending out assets. Yeah. And that's another, really solid tell there's not a lot to this game. But you want, the last game that we looked at, or not the last one, the dungeon one. Like, when you see the animation of the guy swinging a sword, that looked pretty nice. This is just a character walking and things are happening.
Yeah, there was more effort put into that sword swing than there was probably in this entire game.
Yep. And yeah, this is definitely, I think, easy F in terms of a store page in a game.
And F in gameplay, get F in store page, F in everything. F minus. Matter of fact, in both, I think.
Here's a little bit of an oddity. The language is Russian. There's no actual language in this game. It shows me no text other than the up here, but that's in English.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a roguelike with exploration. I do not see a roguelike here. It's an action puzzle and platform.
I tell you, whatever this game is priced at, it's a bad price.
We've done topics before, Nikita, about like tips for store pages. I don't think I've done like an actual like critical thought on the topic yet, which we could
No, but
probably
we have our Simply Stream podcast where we do one.
yeah. I could certainly do like a smaller video on the topic, just like have it in the critical thought categories, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is one. Yeah, free to suffer, exactly. Yeah, like this is one that any price I think may be a little too high. Like I would say pushing it at like $2.99. What do you think?
No, I think if this was free on itch, people would not want to play it.
And the little thumbnail for the title of it, like that looks nothing like what the actual game is.
Yeah. We should do what, John?
Maybe do something about saturated information. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Mike's comment. Probably a 14-year-old kid. Like, yeah, like it feels, or somebody who's never made a game before.
Yeah. I've seen 14-year-old kids that do better than this. Like my team member Monkey, he was a 14-year-old kid at the time, and he did some really, really good things.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing is that one of your spells is you shooting out a pirate ship. Like that's your spell. Here's
Pirates,
something.
go!
Here's another thing that I find very off-putting. What do these icons actually do for this game? Because like
Yeah,
you're throwing out different spells, but they don't seem to actually relate to anything that you're actually doing.
yeah, they don't seem to have any use at all.
Oh, deep dive on proper release trailers. Like we've done that on these shows, but we could certainly I don't know if we could make that into a full say the extreme show, but maybe just do like a I could certainly do like a quick critical thought on that. I mean that could be like a good 10-20 minute topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately we started with the best. I think we ended with the worst. Which
Did we start with the best? I thought we started with like the second best.
we did start with Ancient Abyss, which I think that was our best one.
I thought it was the other one, like our fourth one or something, that was the best one.
Dungeon and Puzzles.
I think so.
Hmm. I think I did like Ancient Abyss a little bit more, but Dungeon and Puzzles was pretty good too. But we definitely did end with the worst.
Yeah,
Like
no
that,
doubt about that.
and I think the psychological trick is you're supposed to start with the worst and end with the best. So we went out on a bad note here.
Uh-oh. That means everybody should unsubscribe from the YouTube channel.
Uh-uh.
Unsubscribe, unring the bell.
But I
How can
think
you unring a bell?
you can't unring a bell.
Well, yeah, you can. You can invent the time machine, go back before the bell was rang, and then right as they start to swing it, you grab it right before it hits the edge, and then pull it back.
But we did get another discussion, another phrase, free to suffer. Thank you, John. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
I should bring that with Ramin, see what he thinks about it.
Free to suffer.
Alright, but yeah. So I
Good
think
one.
to wrap things up for this week's show. So again, like Ancient Abyss and Dungeon and Puzzles are probably like the two highlights. And part of the reason why you have a very descriptive score page, you have multiple gifts. The gifts seem to recognize or they match what the text is. Trailer for both were really good.
They had good non-compressed chips that were large.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. I don't think they put their logo at the beginning of the trailer.
Let's see. Let me see the Dungeon Puzzle one again. No, they didn't do that. Yeah, it was at the end. Art is good. The gifts sell the text. The text sells the gift. Again, everything is matching for what we want to see.
Although, if I remember right, some of the things matched a little bit too much because they had the same
Yeah.
content in both the trailer and the screenshots and the GIFs.
Mm-hmm.
And you want every bit of it to be different content.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to show off the same thing multiple times. You want them to look at it and see something new every time they see something.
Yep.
Everything should look new. Which
But
means that you want as much variance as you can in between your screenshots.
mm-hmm.
You know, like if you have multiple biomes in your game, you want to have a screenshot in each biome kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or at least, go in that direction kind of thing. Maybe if you got
Break
500
up.
biomes, don't put 500 screenshots, but
Yeah. But just don't show like the same exact screen or the same exact area 5 to 10 different times.
yeah, try to make everything look as different as possible and as good as possible.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But I think that will do it. I think again, like fewer games is helping. For this, we just had like I just had to throw in that extra one because it was just such a example of what not to do.
Yeah.
But
So here's a question for you, Josh,
mm-hmm.
and this is something I'm unsure of. So I want your kind of feedback on this. What do you think about having spoilers in there, story spoilers? And by story spoilers, I mean for example, in my last game, Chromasia kind of thing, having like I specifically tried to avoid this kind of thing about not showing any screenshots that were not in the first 10 maps because after that you turn purple on your characters kind of thing, and I was worried about showing off the purple characters.
I think with something like Chromasia, I think part of the challenge you had, of course, was that all the areas had the same exact look to them.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I think in like that case, I think having the purple wouldn't have been that big of a deal because a new player looking at the game wouldn't know that that would be a spoiler. Like it
Yeah.
would be kind of like,
What if the environment was more varied?
yeah, definitely. Like anything that would be different, you want to show that. Like for instance, like if I show you, like remember that game I play? Oh no, I can't believe I forget the name of it. The one that I just played was like the Bloodborne looking title with like all like the very creepy looking monsters. Like
Mhm.
I could show you every different boss fight in that game, and it would be completely nondescript. Like you wouldn't know what those bosses were unless you already played the game. And I think in that case, that would be good. Like if you show me a screenshot of your main character being killed or somebody betraying you, yeah, like that would be a bad one. That would be a bad spoiler.
Yeah. What about like the final boss when they're supposed to be this huge, massive thing that you haven't even seen the final boss
Yeah,
for that matter yet?
I would say that
It is
could.
a very large departure from everything else because it's actual technology.
Yeah, that could be tricky because it is such a different thing from the rest of the game.
Hmm.
Yeah. Don't know if I would show that because then we get into that whole issue of your screenshots aren't really matching. Like if the entire game looked at that quality, yes, but if it's generic grassy plain, and then futuristic cyborg technology, it's like wait, what just happened? Because we've seen games that do that. It's like one screenshot looks like this, next screenshot looks completely different.
Yeah, yeah, I figured that. That's the reason why in the current trailer, which is still not a good trailer on there, it has. By the way, the game's not for sale anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why we don't make a new trailer for it. The What I did was I think at the beginning of that trailer is I hinted to the boss by really blurring it out kind of thing, which was probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to reveal it kind of thing.
To Nikita's point, we did talk about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you should have a healthy mix. You should have some that, like the ones that like show up immediately. If you can remove the UI, do it. But if you can't do that, then that's perfectly fine. But you do want screenshots that are just pure, the game itself, but you also want those that show the UI because you want
I
the.
don't, I don't know. I think I would want UI on all of them.
I think it also depends on the game itself. Like some games that are very mechanically heavy, you can't really remove the UI on them because then it's going to look like a betrayal of the game.
Hmm. But I would want the UI on all of them either way.
Yeah.
Because the number one, they did a study, a Steam study, and the number one thing people looked at was the UI. And to tell what genre the game was, because they weren't even looking at the store page description. Because number one, that's lies to all the time because people say, "Oh, I made the first game where you jump from platform to platform. I call it a leaper kind of thing, and it's a completely new genre and never been made before kind of thing."
Also, I also want to point out that if I'm going back to Candy Disaster for a second, if you look at the second screenshot, that's just like a lightning bolt coming down. That I don't think is a good screenshot. You want to avoid screenshots that are just, graphic, like or just noise, because it's not showing me anything about this game. It's the kind of the similar example of the horror game that's just black the game. That it's a screenshot, but it tells me nothing about this game.
Yeah.
All right, but I think we can certainly wrap things up for here. And yeah, maybe I will think about put that as a topic for a critical thought going forward. But for those of you who've been watching this live record, let us know what you think about the show in terms of format. If you have any suggestions, feedback, whatever. I will be back later tonight for our regular game streams. And if you want more of our discussions about game design and game dev topics, be sure to tune in for the Safely Extreme podcast. That is Sundays around 4:30 ET on both of our channels.
Mm-hmm. And check out both of our channels. Subscribe, whatnot. Like the video. Ring the bell if you want to catch your live streams actually live, not in recorded form. Join our Discords as well. We both have in our descriptions for both of us, we have Josh's Discord and my Discord, where Josh's Discord, you can go on there and talk about a lot of game design stuff and games in general kind of thing. Mine's focused on the games I make, as well as, talking about game dev too. Mm-hmm. And memes. Of course, there's memes on his channel too, but not as many. Generally better memes because they're all about Josh, but and of course we got our Twitters down in the description too. Anything else we missed?
When do you do your game dev streams?
Oh yeah, we on my YouTube channel we do my game dev streams every Friday. We have the Safely Stream podcast on there every Sunday. We have the Indie Inquiry here on every Thursday, and then I do a game stream every Tuesday. And Josh, you do game streams every night, right?
Yeah, and we do developer interviews as well when we have the guests for it. All right, but let's wrap things up for this week. So as always, come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, take care.
See ya.